Hi, everybody. This is Dr. George James. I just wanted to share a few things, mainly about how to talk to your children about tragic loss. Thinking about the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other families that were on the helicopter yesterday. And as a therapist, it's been a big part of my day today, talking to people, no matter what we're talking about. Somehow we come back to talking about the loss of Kobe Bryant, his family, his daughter, those on board, and what that meant for so many people across the country and across the world. But personally, it's something that I had to also talk to my own children about. And I just wanted to share a few things that I tried to keep in mind as I was talking to my children, and in particular, my 7 year old son who woke up in the middle of the night just thinking about it. And as a parent, as a father, and honestly, even as a black man, part of what I often try to do is to protect my family from the things outside the world, outside in the world, that might impact them or hurt them or harm them. Whether it be ways to keep them safe, whether it be how they interact with friends, whether it be injustice or racism or any of those things that could be harmful to them. I think about those things and I think about them often. And this was news that I would probably want to shield from my children or to wait for some time. But you can't, it was hard because my son was going to the bathroom, and in the bathroom is when he heard about the helicopter crash. So no matter what I would try to do to delay the message, it still was something that he was able to hear. And so for those families where you're trying to protect or shield your children from hearing some of this information, think about if it's possible, if you can, think about when you want to. And to shield doesn't mean you never bring it up. To shield your children from it just means maybe you want to have a particular time that you want to bring this information up. So I wasn't able to do that. I have two children, my 9 year old daughter and my 7 year old son, and in particular, it hit my son harder than my daughter. And at about 3:30 in the morning, he woke up saying that he was thinking about the crash. I don't know about for you and your family members, if you have children who are thinking about it, it might weigh on them. And children do the same thing adults do, that they feel anxious just like we do. They might worry just like we might. They might feel some fear. And it's part of what we do as parents to encourage them and to give them some perspective and help them to know what they can do. So there were three things, maybe really four things, uh, my wife and I shared with our son. One is to pray, because in these things, in these tragic times, there's actually other people that we need to think about, not just ourselves. That there are people who are hurting, people who have lost a father, a sibling, a family member, a mother, and that those families, even though we are feeling it, those families are feeling it in a much larger way than we are. And for us to pray in our family, your family, you might choose to do something else. To pray just meant that we wanted to think about somebody else. We wanted to think about their needs, their hurt, their pain. And that's the thing that we can do, that we can control. The second thing that we talked about was to breathe. That just being overwhelmed with fear or anxiety can sometimes make us not be able to even catch our breath or to be overwhelmed. And sometimes we just need to slow it down by taking a breath. And my son and our children are used to us just every now and then taking a breath and slowing things down. And so we were able to do that. And then the third thing that we talked about was to talk. That it is okay to talk. That even though he's 7, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about what happened or what could have happened or what could have been different. And we wanted him to feel safe, that it's okay to talk to mommy and daddy about it. And that's my encouragement to you, that your children, no matter what age, if they're younger, you might share it in a different way. Like sometimes bad things happen, and what do we want to do about that as a family? And if they're older or even teenagers, they're going to think about the specifics. If they were into basketball or if they were into or just going to school, they might hear it. and being able to know that they can talk about it with you, that you're not just pushing it aside or trying to avoid it, that it's okay to talk. And so we talked. It was at 3:30 in the morning, and I would have liked to sleep. I wish I was sleeping at that moment. But what was most important was to be able to be there for our son, to be able to comfort him. And the last thing is that we tried to think about something positive. What's something that we can look forward to? That even though there's some tough things that we feel and are going through, what are some other things that we can think about that might also help us to feel just a little bit better in that moment? And then that allowed him to just be okay to then go to sleep. So that's what I want you to think about, that any loss is hard and tragic loss is tough. And someone like Kobe Bryant and his daughter, that's hard. That's tough for us. And we might have lots of questions. But what we can do is to think about the things we can control. And that might mean, for us in my family, and maybe this might help for your family, is to pray or to think about others or to think about someone else or those who are really in the midst of this painful situation, to be able to take a breath, to slow it down, to not be overwhelmed with anxiety or fear, and to talk, to find a safe space or safe people that you can talk to. And then lastly, to think about something positive. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that might be helpful to you all. It was helpful for our family, and it was something that we were able to practice last night. Probably something that we'll have to practice for the rest of this week, or maybe ongoing for a period of time. This is Dr. George James. I just wanted to share some things to help you during this time of just dealing with the tragic loss of Kobe, his daughter, and all the other family members on board.